find it.
Today, in Adelaide, Officer Amy and her detector dog Gordo are on duty. And Gordo has already shown interest in a family returning from Cambodia and indicated that this elderly woman may be concealing something illicit.
My detector dog, he showed interest to her body and nosed into her stomach area and the bag that was sitting on her stomach.
And so who pays for your grandma when you go overseas? The family, how does that, is she on a pension or pension and that covers her? Yeah.
Anyone entering Australia can be subject to screening, no matter who they are or what their circumstances. Even the elderly, as criminal syndicates have been known to prey on the most vulnerable in the community, using them to act as couriers.
And so how often do you guys go back and forth?
Yeah, yearly.
Yearly, yeah.
Officer Lily now focuses her search on the handbag that the elderly woman was carrying when the detector dog reacted to her.
And how long has your grandma been living here?
26 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A swab has been taken from the handbag, which will indicate any traces of illegal substances.
Fairly strong rating as well.
Today in Sydney, Biosecurity Officer Greg has spotted several items of possible concern in the luggage of this family arriving from the Middle East.
They haven't declared anything on the passenger cards. So what we're seeing on the X-ray, in particular, is these images here. We've also got other food in another suitcase. It could be nuts or sweets. So we're going to get officers to have a look.
So with question 6 and 7,
Yeah.
any grains, nuts, number 7?
No.
Anything made out of plants? Any food in the bags?
No.
Okay, we're going to open the bags and we'll have a look.
Officer Susan soon discovers packets of Middle Eastern sweets, and they contain ingredients listed on the declaration card.
You see, sir, how there's nuts? There's nuts in the sweet.
Yeah.
You see nuts again, there's nuts. Nuts again.
And the traditional treats keep on coming.
See how there's dried flowers on top?
Yeah.
This must be declared. It's part of a plant, it's a flower.
The family seem genuinely unaware that these simple items may be a problem, which is why they should have declared their food items so that biosecurity officers can make an informed decision.
When you came here, you could have said to us, I have food. I don't know what to fill out, but I have some type of
now
nuts.
I have food.
Now it's too late.
Why?
Because, no, it's too late. This is your responsibility
Going on.
because this is a legal document. You signed something that you don't know. There's 4 chances on 4 cards. Nothing. No, everywhere.
Yeah. I did know. I did know.
Australian Border Force has taken aside a woman who's returning to Sydney after a short trip home to Thailand.
So interview commenced at 10:01 hours.
She's requested the help of an interpreter, despite having lived in Australia on a student visa for an extended period of time for the sole purpose of studying English.
Our records show that you completed your English course last year and then you were due to start a diploma of business. So what's the reason that you returned to Thailand instead of commencing your studies?
ไม่ได้ติดต่อมาที่กลับไทยไปเพื่อที่จะไปดูแล
father-in-law, he is really sick. I went to Thailand to look after him.
What's your intention of coming into Australia today?
เข้ามาเพื่อที่จะ
I intend to come to fix up my issue about my study.
The woman explains that her language skills are still not good enough to begin her business studies and instead needs to enrol in another English course.
So do you have a confirmation of enrolment or a letter of offer from any education provider?
จดหมายไม่มีค่ะแต่ทางเอเจนต์เขาโทรไปหา
I don't have a confirmation letter.
To maintain a student visa, you need to be enrolled in a course. So if you don't have a letter of offer, it appears that you may be in breach of your visa conditions today.
Further checks of the woman's academic record are made, and what is discovered casts serious doubts on her commitment to being a legitimate student.
Actually, she's had 2 English courses cancelled by the looks of it previously, and obviously this will be her 3rd attempt.
Even more concerning is her lack of documentation confirming her current enrolment in any course, which is a strict requirement of her student visa.
So I don't know whether the agent is able to organise a letter of offer, but that's what it basically hinges on at this point.
In Adelaide, detector dog Gordo has reacted to this elderly woman who is returning from Cambodia with her 2 grandsons.
My detector dog nosed into her stomach area and the bag that was sitting on her stomach.
A swab test of that handbag has returned a positive result for ephedrine, a substance used in the manufacturing of methamphetamine.
Do you know why it may have come up with that reading at all? No, you don't use anything like that? No. And this bag, has this been in her possession the whole time?
Yeah.
Is this like a daily handbag that she uses?
Yeah, she takes it to the shop.
Through her grandsons, the woman is asked if she is concealing anything around her waist.
She showed me that she's got nothing here. Does she have anything else in any pockets at all? Because what we may have to do to alleviate any concerns that we have is do a frisk search today on your grandmother.
With the help of her grandson, officers make sure the passenger is willing and able to stand for the frisk search.
But what I really need you to do is to read this card, to understand the card so that you can translate it to her, and she needs to understand it as well.
The woman agrees to the frisk search, which is conducted by a female officer. Officer Tara feels an inconsistency around the woman's waist and signals to a fellow officer that she may have found a sizable concealment.
The customs officer has felt something under her bra and in her underwear.
Okay. With a positive drug swab and now a possible concealment, officers suspect the elderly woman may be trying to smuggle something across the border, and their investigation needs to be stepped up.
We'll need to upgrade this now. Okay. Ma'am,
There's 4 chances on 4 cards. Nothing. No, 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 everywhere.
In Sydney, a family arriving from the Middle East has failed to declare any foodstuffs.
Yeah, so this is a food. You put it in your mouth. Yeah? If you're not sure, look. If unsure, say yes. There's a lot here. You need to declare it.
Anyway, I'm not upset. Thanks for you for next time. I know for next time.
It seems the passenger is starting to get the message, but it may be a little too late, as this item is of particular concern.
This one isn't allowed. It's not ground like this. And it's got the stems, you see? That can have all sorts of viruses and bacteria in it. This needs to be destroyed.
Officer Greg returns to examine the item.
So it's a tea, is it?
Yeah.
Do you buy this in markets?
No, from
the garden.
So you've taken this out of the garden?
Yeah.
You can't keep it.
The unidentified plant could harbour foreign pests and diseases, and the family may be facing a hefty penalty.
What I can do?
The point is the passengers haven't declared anything, and it's large quantities. And we just established whether or not there is going to be a penalty imposed or not. And that's what we're working at the moment. What would you classify this as?
I think oregano.
I would think it's herbs.
There does seem to be a slight language barrier, so Officer Susan tries to clarify the situation in Arabic.
What are you explaining to him now?
He's saying, oh, if you give me a chance for next time, then I would know. تفهم
With further explanation, the visitor has learned a valuable lesson about the importance of declaring all items correctly.
The officer conversed with the passenger in Arabic, and as a result of that conversation, we decided to give them a written warning, and that written warning is about education, and they were advised, both English and Arabic, that if they do that again, there could be heavy fines for failing to declare.
عم تفهم علي؟ Okay.
A Thai woman who's been living in Australia on a student visa for several years says she's returning from a short trip to Thailand and now she's back to continue her studies.
Actually, she's had 2 English courses cancelled by the looks of it previously, and obviously this will be her 3rd attempt.
What we're trying to establish here is whether there's an ulterior motive
To being on shore.
to being on shore for employment purposes rather than education purposes.
Correct.
Officer Alicia continues the investigation.
So do you have sufficient funds today to enrol in a course?
อันนี้พี่ของสามีเขาอ่ะ
My husband brother, he is going to pay for me because of I went to look after his father.
And does your husband work in Australia?
เขาทำนิดหน่อยค่ะ
He works 2 days a week in a restaurant.
Could you please just give me the contact details of your brother-in-law and your husband as well?
อ๋อได้ค่ะ
Yes, I can.
First, Officer Alicia will try to make contact with the woman's husband to verify her story. The woman's future in Australia may now rest on officers being able to contact him.
Call can't be connected.
And Officer Ross has just made a sudden discovery. Her husband is named as a dependent on her visa, so contacting him is now becoming a matter of urgency if they both wish to remain in the country.
We need to speak to him because if we cancel her visa, his visa's cancelled also.
Correct.
After a reaction from a detector dog and a positive result for a drug precursor, Australian Border Force officers have felt a possible concealment on the body of this elderly woman.
The other officer has felt something under her bra and in her underwear.
Inside her underwear.
And here and here. Well, she hasn't got an injury where she's got a bandage or anything.
Dạ mình bạn nó rớp nó lại nâng để khao đi ôi.
Mới là khâu từ nộp nè.
Her undies.
Her undies, and that's all. She hasn't got anything.
I mean idea there.
Mới chạy.
She said there's nothing else there.
But officers strongly suspect that there is something deliberately hidden under her clothing, and the woman's situation is becoming extremely serious.
So they're going to take her into a room and search her to see how much she conceals there.
It's now 11 o'clock. Yep, she's formally detained now for it's called a Category B2 search. We're going to search her body, okay? Just let her know that she'll be coming with us and we'll search her in that room, okay? So just let her know.
Yeah, lâu ta cái rồi anh tôi vào top nữa hay cái lock out trên mà.
Okay.
Explain to her that if she has anything there, just go in there and show what she's got.
Yeah.
So to make everything easier.
That's what's going to happen. We won't need to take her clothes right down and if she can present what she's got, okay?
The passenger is led to a private room where female officers will conduct the external search. This Thai woman is attempting to re-enter Australia on a student visa, but officers suspect that her real reason for continuing to live here has nothing to do with her studies.
There's no evidence that this girl would engage in education purposes in a genuine manner.
Her husband's right to reside in Australia is dependent on her visa. But this may be short-lived if he cannot be contacted soon to verify that she is a legitimate student.
I'm unable to contact the husband still. I keep getting a no answer on his mobile.
A lot is riding on the phone call, as he may also be removed from the country if her visa is cancelled.
Call can't be connected, and I've called this at least 8 times now.
However, Officer Alicia has been able to contact the woman's brother-in-law to confirm that he intends to pay for her upcoming enrolment. But it turns out he's already given her the money.
He said that he gave her $700 to pay for the course herself, which is contradictory to what she has actually said, because she said that he was going to organise payment with the migration agent.
Officers are now confident that the woman hasn't been entirely truthful, and with the lack of evidence that she's enrolled to undertake any further study, it's more than likely that she will breach the conditions of her student visa.
So based upon all of the information available to me and your interview, a decision has been made to cancel your visa today. And so has your dependent, so your husband's visa has now been cancelled. I'm unable to get in contact with your husband, but I strongly suggest that you contact him to let him know of his immigration status, because he's currently unlawful in the community.
We have gone to extreme lengths to make contact with her husband, but we can't find the man. So we will now attempt to seek other methods of contact to inform him that his visa has been cancelled as a consequence to her visa cancellation.
Sydney Mail Centre, Australian Border Force officer Carly has noticed a very subtle sign that there could be a problem with the contents of this box from Brazil.
Can you come and have a look at this? I think that looks a bit weird.
Yeah, what's it declared as?
Designer chess set. It's just a bit uneven, like in the density of it.
Yeah, so you think it'll be all even the whole way through, but it looks a bit powderish.
The package is first opened by Australia Post and then taken to the tool room for inspection.
Man, it's heavy.
Without the packaging material to interfere with the X-ray, this scan should give a much better image to show how the board is constructed.
What is this border around here? See, there's a gap between the frame and the inside.
Do you think maybe like it's been hollowed out?
Yeah, well, the board looks pretty solid, but you wouldn't have that gap there. It's like it's air or something. I reckon there's something in there.
The officers have no choice but to drill a hole through the chessboard and see if there is anything sinister lurking inside.
She's formally detained now for it's called a Category B2 search. We're going to search her body, okay? Just let her know that she'll be coming with us.
In Adelaide, an elderly woman is being taken to a private room for an external search, as officers have serious concerns that she is attempting to smuggle something across the border.
The customs officer has felt something under her bra and in her underwear.
Inside the room, the search is now complete, and it's confirmed that she does have a concealment. But despite the swab of her handbag testing positive for ephedrine, it's not narcotics that officers find.
Cash breach, yes, more than $10,000 in currency.
The woman had stuffed wads of $100 notes in her underwear. It amounts to more than $10,000, which should have been declared, and this is now a matter for the Australian Federal Police.
So if you could just let her know that the supervisor is contacting the police and they're going to come in here and talk to her.
If it's determined the money is the proceeds of crime or money laundering, it will be confiscated and the woman could face heavy fines or even imprisonment.
Hey, come around. Yeah,
it's been a good find for Detector Dog Gordo.
Good boy.
At the Sydney Mail Centre, What appears to be a solid timber chessboard from Brazil shows signs that it has a concealment hidden inside.
There it goes.
Through, is it?
It is very solid. Ah, there it goes. Ah,
Feel hollow, can you?
Yeah, it's like it hit some sort of a cavity in
You
there.
can see the white powder on the drill bit there.
Yeah.
The powder will first be tested using the hazmat machine to identify the possible narcotic. And coming out of South America, it is expected to be cocaine.
Wow, Dave, look at that. Methylene dioxymethamphetamine, MDMA.
MDMA, yeah.
Yeah. You don't usually see it in white powdered form like
It's
that.
usually a brownie colour.
Yeah.
Usually more crystal.
As it is surprising to find this type of drug coming from Brazil, just to be sure, officers decide to confirm the result with specific MDMA test kits.
If it is in fact MDMA, this one should go black. There we go. That's exactly what we expected. And for this test to go a really bright blue colour. There we go. Which is, again has confirmed that it's MDMA or ecstasy, which is a really good seizure for us. We're expecting that it's about approximately 5 kilos of powdered MDMA. So we'll hand it over to the AFP and they'll investigate it further.